Maria sat in the passenger seat of their old Chevy, staring out at the road as the sun dipped below the horizon. The drive home from her mother's house should have been peaceful, but the air inside the car was thick with tension. Gabriel, her husband of 6 years, gripped the steering wheel tightly, his knuckles turning white. His voice cut through the silence like a knife. Enough of this back and forth, Maria. Either you sign the house over to me, or our relationship ends here and now. Maria's breath caught in her throat. He was talking about her late mother's house, the beautiful villa in Santa Barbara that had been in her family for generations. He had been pushing her for months to transfer it to his name, always claiming it was for tax reasons. But Maria wasn't blind. Something had changed in Gabriel. The late nights at the office. The vague explanations about their finances. The way he dodged her questions. And now, here he was, demanding control over the one thing she had left of her family. Maria's voice was steady when she answered. Never. The tires screeched as Gabriel slammed the brakes. Maria lurched forward, her seatbelt digging into her chest. They were on an isolated stretch of the Pacific Coast Highway, the ocean a dark shimmer in the fading light. Before she could react, Gabriel stormed out, yanked open her door, and growled, "Get out." Maria's heart pounded. What? You think you're smarter than me? Figure out your way home. For a long moment, she sat frozen, staring at the stranger she had once loved. But when she stepped out of the car, legs shaking, Gabriel slammed the door shut, jumped back in, and sped off, leaving her alone in the growing darkness. The red taillights disappeared around the bend, and Maria stood there, stunned. Her husband had just abandoned her on the side of the road. The cold night air wrapped around her as reality sank in. She was miles from anywhere, with no phone, no money, and no way home. She started walking, the sound of her heels clicking against the pavement echoing in the silence. Cars passed by, but none stopped. As she walked, memories flooded her mind, meeting Gabriel at a friend's barbecue, staying up all night talking, the way he used to look at her like she was the only woman in the world. When had that man disappeared? She thought of her mother, who had always warned her about Gabriel, saying there was something off about him. Maria had brushed it off as overprotectiveness. But now, standing alone on the highway, she wished more than anything that she had listened. Then, headlights appeared in the distance. A car slowed down and came to a stop beside her. The passenger window rolled down, revealing an older woman with a kind face. "Are you all right, dear? Do you need a ride?" Maria hesitated, but something in the woman's eyes told her she could trust her. "Yes, please," she whispered, stepping into the warmth of the car. The car smelled like lavender and old leather. Maria exhaled shakily as she sank into the seat. "I'm Linda," the woman said with a warm smile. "And this is my husband, Bob. We're on our way home from visiting our grandkids." "What happened to you, sweetheart?" Maria hesitated. How could she sum up the last 6 years in one sentence? "My husband left me," she finally admitted. Linda's eyes widened. Men can be such idiots sometimes. She shot a playful glare at Bob. Bob just chuckled, eyes on the road. "That they can." As they drove, Linda filled the silence with stories about their grandchildren and their garden back home. Maria was grateful for the distraction. By the time they reached Santa Barbara, she knew what she had to do. She couldn't go back to the house she shared with Gabriel. Not tonight. "Could you drop me off at my friend Elena's place?" she asked. Linda squeezed her hand. "Of course, dear." Elena opened the door, took one look at Maria's face, and pulled her inside. "What the hell happened?" she demanded, guiding Maria to the couch. Maria took a deep breath, then told her everything. Elena's expression shifted from shock to fury. "That son of a..." She stopped herself, then stood abruptly. "You're staying here tonight. No arguments." Tears welled in Maria's eyes. "Thank you." That night, as Maria lay in Elena's guest room, she made a decision. Gabriel wasn't going to take her house. He wasn't going to take her self-respect. Tomorrow, she would fight back. The next morning, Maria walked into her house, not their house, her head held high. Gabriel was at the dining table, sipping coffee like nothing had happened. When he saw her, his eyebrows rose. "You finally came to your senses?" Maria placed a folder on the table. "No. I came to tell you I'm filing for divorce." Gabriel laughed. "You're being ridiculous." "No, Gabriel," Maria said, voice firm. "What's ridiculous is you thinking you can manipulate me into giving you my family's home." His face darkened. "You're making a mistake." Maria's heart pounded, but she refused to back down. "No. I made a mistake 6 years ago. But I'm fixing it now." She turned on her heel and walked away. Gabriel didn't follow. The divorce was messy, but Maria refused to let Gabriel intimidate her. As the weeks passed, she discovered things: credit cards in her name, hidden debts, even messages to another woman. He had never loved her. He had only ever wanted control. For the first time in years, Maria felt free. She moved into her mother's house, and started fresh. She reconnected with old friends, took long walks by the ocean, and slowly, piece by piece, rebuilt herself. One evening, Maria sat on the villa's porch, watching the sun set over the ocean. She was no longer the woman who had begged for love from a man who never deserved her. She was strong, independent, and for the first time in a long time, truly happy. As she sipped her tea, her phone buzzed. A message from Elena. "Proud of you. You're finally living on your own terms." Maria smiled. Yes, she was. And she would never let anyone take that away again.